A neurodiversity-friendly workplace is beneficial for everyone. People with neurodivergent profiles can bring great strengths to the workplace.
However, it has been proven that neurodivergent people face challenges in finding work and fitting in.
Schwierigkeiten mit der Neurodivergenz hatte ich auf jeden Fall zu Beginn im Arbeitskontext, wie ich schon gesagt hatte, weil ich eben nicht intuitiv die sozialen Normen, die gefordert waren, kannte und da dann auch oft eben angeeckt bin mit meinem Anderssein. Das war sehr schwierig. Zudem ging es mir so, wie es auch vielen anderen neurodivergenten Personen geht, dass ich eigentlich sehr gut qualifiziert war. Also ich hatte einen Master gemacht in London und habe danach aber trotzdem für 5 Jahre keinen Job gefunden, obwohl ich hochqualifiziert war. Ich wurde immer eingeladen zu Bewerbungsgesprächen, aber habe im Endeffekt keinen Job bekommen und habe mich dann immer weiter qualifiziert.
Over the years, I've worked with neurodiverse people in supporting them in the workplace, but also on a personal level, I've had some really positive experiences of working with people who think differently. And in particular, I always think of a line manager who had autism. The main reasons I found it so positive to work with him is that he told us he had autism, and this was in a time when really people didn't speak much about neurodiversity, but he also went on to talk about what his strengths were and what his blind spots were. His strengths were obvious. He was absolutely brilliant at building models to simplify complex problems. And I guess his blind spots were also a little obvious, but what made the world of difference is that he was open about them, talked about them, but also asked us to help him navigate those blind spots.
One thing I'm passionate about is the customer journey. And I believe that just like our family, everyone is an individual. So we should be treating everyone how we would treat our family. And everyone has different individual needs. When you're neurodivergent, you have a different way of thinking. And I think sometimes when we think of our customers, we just think of them as a voice on the end of the phone, a pen at the end of the letter. So when that person calls you and you think, oh no, I've got somebody really grumpy on the phone, they're not understanding, it's actually putting it in a different perspective. What could be the reason they're like that? Could it be that it's taken absolutely everything, all their energy for that day to contact you and speak to you? And if you're just taking them as that voice and not taking them as the individual, you're not accepting them.
Embracing neurodiversity in the workplace means embracing all the strengths, unique perspectives and creativity that neurodivergent people possess.
This really chimes with all of our AXA values about embracing diversity, because really it's a different style of thinking. And the key point for me is this is about embracing different and diverse perspectives. And these different styles of thinking and unique viewpoints, they can drive huge amounts of creativity. They drive huge amounts of laser focus. I think they lead ultimately, in many cases, to really great problem solving for our businesses. And I'm a strong believer in advocating for it.
The other thing to draw out is that research has been done on this topic, and a team with neurodivergent talent in certain roles can be 30% more productive than not having neurodiverse people in the team. And similarly, research has also shown that inclusion and integration of neurodivergent colleagues also boosts team morale.
To stay ahead, AXA adopts an inclusive approach that considers accessibility and support throughout an employee's journey with the company. This includes setting a strategy, building a culture that includes diverse employees, and leveraging the expertise of employee relations groups to ensure the needs and talents of every type of individual are embraced.
Alongside a whole new skill set. I think being truly inclusive means creating a supportive environment for all of us. So we want to make sure that everybody who comes in to work with us and work for us feels that they're fully accepted and that they can be themselves and that they can utilize these great skills that they have. But also then, with it comes some unique sets of requirements. So, a particular thing that we have been very conscious of is around creating the right environment. And we have created quiet zones in our sites, which work really well and allow people to concentrate and focus and feel just that bit more comfortable. Because sensory stimulation is a big part of neurodiversity, and what may seem completely fine for somebody who's not neurodiverse might be quite overwhelming for somebody who is. So just being conscious of that in the workplace and in the environment is important. And it's really just small tweaks that you make that allow people then to be fully productive and comfortable. So I think another thing to consider is training and awareness. The perception of what it is and what it actually is very different. Providing training for people and just people being curious and educating themselves helps a lot as well.
There's many things that you can do, but I think there's no one recipe for every workplace. When you go into supporting someone, you have to consider also the reality that there's many neurodivergent people who have major impairments will not necessarily be the ones who will impair your productivity. As we lift, up those who can really work and contribute, that we don't end up pushing down those who can't. And I think even when you have someone who is not super productive, I think it can enhance your workplace in a broader sense. So we need to talk about universal design. And generally we feel that if we make an environment and practices positive and conducive to autistic people's well-being, then they're kind of good for everybody. We need the same things as everybody else. We just need them a little bit more, and we'd love to see universal design and universal solutions, because then also we don't have to go through the struggle of asking. So my recommendation would be to make everything neurodivergent friendly, because that's kind of human friendly. We want to contribute, we want to work such as we are now, and we want our children and our loved ones also to have those opportunities.
Together, we can create inclusive workplaces that allow each person to thrive. Together, we can harness the power of neurodiversity.